Well, what do you suppose our project is for today? That's right. If you read the title, you know exactly what it is. We're going to remove a doorknob. We're not only going to remove one doorknob, we're going to remove 2 and number 3. I'm getting ready to paint these doors, and I've got to get these off. So I figured I probably might as well show you really quick how to take these knobs off. They're very simple, especially if you're getting ready to, say, replace these knobs and get some new ones or something like that. Now see, on the back side here, you're going to see some screws. See that screw? There's one on the other side of this handle too. Right there. Okay, you can see that. That's all we're going to have to do is undo those 2 screws. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that, shall we? That's all I need is a Phillips screwdriver, and I'm set. Just kind of hold my foot on the door. I'm just going to undo these screws here. You have to kind of hold your Phillips screwdriver at a slight angle. And see, as you're doing it, the back side or the front side, whatever, is going to start moving. You know, and sometimes it could just pop right off. Because see, I'm undoing this screw, and this is not pulling away from the door. The other side is pulling away from the door. Can you see that? See how sloppy it is already? So when I get close, I don't want this to fall. You know, in case you got some nice pre-finished floor or tile or something that's going to scratch when it drops, let's say. Come on. Boy, these screws are long. Let's keep going. Okay. Yeah, it's still. Okay, here it is. Okay, so now there's no screws on there. Now we're just simply going to pull it, slip that side off, and this other side's going to slide out. And see, it's not coming out. Don't force it. The trick here is you're just going to push this latch in just a little bit. Just a little. And now you can pull that side out. You see there? That's all there is to it. And then Phillips screwdriver again. That's all I need for this door. Got my foot on the door so it's not going to slide all over the place. And now I can unscrew this front bit. I like to do these by hand. I mean, you could take them out with a battery operated drill, let's say, but you know, but to reinstall these, I wouldn't recommend doing it that way, because you could strip the head off or tighten it up too much or break it off or whatever. Okay, now this is just going to simply slide out. That's it. We've done it. Okay. Let's see what we can do about this one. Now this one is basically the same. Well, this is a privacy handle. And privacy, I know that because see, there's a little hole right there. You take a little tool and you push in there, and you don't pop it out. See here? It's got a thumb turn to lock it and unlock it. Okay, so whenever you have a thumb turn like that, you know that when you put something in there, it has to be have a little small paddle on it, very tiny standard slotted screwdriver or something like that. If you've seen my other video, I show you how to pop this open. You push on it straight, but that's only if you have a push button here. You see what I mean? Then you would take this side and push, get something in there and push it straight in. But because this is a a twisty right there, a thumb turn. Then you gotta come in here with a little, you've seen a little coffee stir that's got the little paddle thing on the end. You need a little, small little tool like that, okay? Now, this is still just Phillips screws again. You saw right there, see? Right there. We're gonna undo those 2 screws again. That's it. And then on the side latch, same thing. That's all you have to do. Let's just unscrew this whole thing. Well, actually, you see, as you start unscrewing this, when the screw comes out, then it gets closer and closer to the edge, so you have to put your screwdriver out at an angle. If you don't want to do that, let's say, just keep unscrewing it. Let's see what happens. I think this handle is going to stay. Sometimes they want to pop off. Let's see if it pops out on the floor. I don't think it's going to. Because as you saw that last one, the latch kept it in, didn't it? Okay. Yeah, just keep undoing the screws and kind of pull on this. Now see, you can see that it's not off all the way yet, so okay, there it is. Okay, and if you're going to put the same one on, look at it to determine how you're going to put it back on. But in this case, I'm taking this off because it's going to be painted, and I'm going to put on some new ones. Okay, so I'm just going to depress this. Actually, this one here, yep, see? It hits like that because you have to press this in. Now you can pull that out. There it is. Let's get the rest of that unscrewed now, shall we? It's not that hard, you know. Anybody can do this, even you. Now, if this is hard to pull out, let's say it's painted and this is sticking a little bit. What you can do, I'll show you what you can do on that. You still can take your screwdriver and put it in the slot in the latch, and then just reach around here and pull on it like that. Now you can gently take that out. Okay, if it's stuck really tight, you might have to score it with a razor blade or a sheetrock knife or something like that. Last thing you want to do is just say, well, Joe said to jerk it out, and I jerked it out and it ripped, boop, or down here, a little piece right off your side of your door. That's the last thing you want to do. We're not trying to patch the door. All we're trying to do is take the doorknob off. Okay, simple as that. Okay, you really want to see this other one? This other one is the same way. This one here. And by the way, let's talk about this for a quick moment. This is for the bathroom here. And I'm going to change this to a lever, because first off, see, when you close the door, it's hitting tight there and down at the bottom. Let's zoom you in here. You see that gap? Okay, the door is closed at the top. Now to pull that gap in, I've got to pull on the door to latch it in. Okay, now that's where it's going to go. And before, this wasn't even fitting at all. Right there. And so what I had to do to fix that, I had to take a reamer bit right in here, and I reamed out the side of the latch here to get this to close. But if you can imagine, after you take a shower or say you rinse your hands off and you're on the inside of this door, you've got to then turn this kind of hard because there's a lot of pressure on this, because I'm actually pulling in the crooked door, the warped door. So as you try to turn this, it's hard to turn. You have to grab onto it tight and turn it because you're trying to open the latch and it's rubbing on the side of this strike plate, okay? And so that's why I'm going to change this one to a lever handle. So when you're in the bathroom, all you have to do is hit the lever, push it down, and make it work. Now what I may end up doing, I may ream this out a little bit more. But the last thing I want to do is ream it out so far to where when the door is closed, I got this big honking gap all the way down the door. That looks kind of tacky. So I'm gonna fix that a little bit. But the first thing I have to do, obviously, is take this doorknob off. Okay. And so we just got to get in here. I'm gonna hold my foot on the back side of the door. It's kind of tricky, but you can do it. And sometimes these are stuck. If this is a painted door, and if they put these knobs on just after the doors have been painted, let's say, a lot of times people don't have enough time to let the paint cure 100% for maybe 3 or 4 days before they say, hey, we got to get going on this job, let's go. Now see, I can't even pull that out until I undo this other screw over here. Now see how the screw goes in because I'm pushing the back side of the handle off. See, now I can reach in there and unscrew, and I can just take this and unscrew the rest if I want. So let's say, for instance, if this was stuck, you just want to kind of tap on it a little bit, you know, to loosen it up, to get it off. Okay. Pull that side out like that. Simple Simon. Push this latch in, pull that out. There, presto. Oh. See, are most doorknobs this easy to take off? Well, lots of them are. But others are not. Okay? Because as you saw on this one here, it had the little screws right on the finished escutcheon trim. Okay? On some others, you don't see any screws on either side of the door and you're like, okay, what's the deal there? Then you look on the escutcheon, somewhere either on the front side or the back side. Usually it's on the back side. Okay? And you might see a little clip that sticks out, and then on the side of this, on the opposite side of the little clip, the spring-loaded deal, there's a notch. A very small little notch on the side of your escutcheon. You take a screwdriver in there and you push it in and just twist it a little bit, and that kind of pops off a little bit. And then you can take the other side and pull it off. The escutcheon trim comes off. And before you can take the escutcheon trim off, you'll see on the side of the escutcheon here, on the inside, whichever side you're on, right here, on the inside over there, you have to push a little spring-loaded button in with a small tiny screwdriver, and then you can pop the knob off. Okay? Then you take your screwdriver on the notch, click that off, pull that off, and then these secured screws for the body are inside. So when you pull it off, you're still going to see a plate here, and you undo those two screws. You pull that body off, you know, on this side, and you pull the other side off. Okay? Hope you learned something. Well, that's all I got for this time, but I'll be back with more videos.